I'm so happy that you are here. Happy November. It's another Sunday reset. If you're new here, my name is Susan. I'm a 25-year-old brain tumor survivor, and I'm just learning how to live, and I'm taking you with me. I'm still trying to find my groove with the Sunday reset thing. I'm just gonna walk you through last week and what I plan on doing this week. We're gonna do clean. I'm gonna show you what I learned this past week and my spooky studies that I told you about, and then I'm gonna fill you in on my doctor's appointment I had. Let's just start with the doctor's appointment and get that out of the way. I had a neuropsych evaluation. They did this right when I was diagnosed with a tumor and right after my grand mal seizure. So that was my new baseline. I had never had that testing done before. It is a 4-hour test usually, and it's all to test your cognitive abilities, find your strengths, find your weaknesses, and just overall have a picture of what your brain is capable of. The tests are designed to be hard and to push you to your absolute limit. Afterwards, you are exhausted. A lot of times it feels like, I don't know if this is the word that is used across the country, but when I was in elementary school, it was called the Dibbles testing. There's an English and comprehension piece, and then there was a math piece. They read you a short story, and then you have to read back, you have to explain it back to them. They give you a list of words that they read off to you, and you have to try to remember as many as possible. There's one where you put keys in a hole using only one hand, and then switch and do the other hand. I think of what we did so many. I was given a sheet of paper with probably 20 to 30 math equations, and I went through and did as many as I could. You look at pictures and you'll just say the word of what it is. Some of the pictures are broken up in different angles. They'll show you 6 shapes and then take the shapes away, and you have to draw them as accurately as you can. And then they calculate all of that into like a score, I guess. That takes about 2 weeks to get your scores back. And then she'll call and go over my testing, and we will compare it to the testing I took last year and then make a game plan on how I can improve my skills, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, 4.5 hours yesterday. My brain was fried. I still feel the fatigue from yesterday, but it definitely felt better than when I took it last year, so that gives me hope that my brain is doing well. I've talked about this before, but I do what I call mind maintenance every day. I do the New York Times, Wordle, strands, and connections. A lot of the skills I used yesterday I've definitely strengthened from those 3 games. I also do Nerdle, which is Wordle, but a math equation. With the help of ChatGPT, I've been making those little self-curriculum classes where I do research and learn and comprehend. So I'm working those skills there. I read every day. And then just being a functioning mom and human being, I work on organization, time management, and decision making. So although the tests felt easier, my scores will determine if my cognitive abilities have actually changed. And a big thing that we discussed was this all felt easier because there wasn't that darkness and the heaviness of depression that I was experiencing last year when I took this test. The stress relief that I've had since having the surgery, that is also a factor in all of this. In 2 weeks, we'll have my results, and I can fill you in more then. I don't actually have a November curriculum yet. Things have just been wild, and I am still working on my October curriculum, but I do have some new reading materials that I plan on doing. So I'm gonna fill you in on this, and next week, hopefully I'll have a better scaffolding of what I want to be learning and how I'll be doing it. I've been seeing this book all over the place. Everyone says it's one of the best books they've ever read. So this is The 4 Agreements, and I will put the link in the description. I got this used off of Amazon. Based on the ancient Toltec wisdom, the 4 Agreements offer a powerful code of conduct that can rapidly transform our lives to a new experience of freedom, true happiness, and love. If you can hear that, that is an excavator in my driveway. The day after we had Julia, we had a huge storm. We were actually in a tornado warning, and our entire driveway washed out. So I remember sitting in the front seat of the truck because it was raining, holding Julia, and Chris was shoveling dirt back into the driveway because it was just completely washed out. We have been saving up to get this fixed for over a year now, and my uncle is over here doing all of the work today. So very, very thankful for that. And we have a lot of equipment in the front yard. So if you hear banging or booming or excavation, that's what that noise is. So the 4 Agreements, it's pretty thin, but I think it's going to be jam-packed with learning and life lessons. So I'm excited, and I will keep you posted on this. And then this book I actually saw on Pinterest, and then I read the reviews and everyone said that it's really good. I've been trying to limit my screen time. Obviously I record almost every day. So I do use my phone a lot, but I've been cutting back on scrolling significantly. Stolen Focus, Why You Can't Pay Attention and How to Think Deeply Again by Jonathan Hari. I'm very sorry if I mispronounced that. And this is all about screens and how, you know, your time and your eyeballs is the new currency, and how to get back into a state of deep thinking. I have talked about this before. I will talk about it again. I want to take advantage of neuroplasticity, honor my brain, and use it as much as I can instead of just defaulting to a screen and AI. I use ChatGPT a lot, and it has been huge, especially with all of the brain things and injuries that I've sustained in the last year, but I want to start healing that, and a big part of healing is putting in the repetition of using your brain. So I got this, and I also got the workbook that went with it. Again, the book I got used, the workbook I didn't get used because I didn't know if someone would have like written in it, but very excited about these. So these 3 readings, I'm hoping to get through, well, 2 readings and a workbook. I'm hoping to get through these readings this month in November and then start in on the workbook. So that's all I have for November curriculum. It's a little anticlimactic, but that's what we have. Learnings of the week, I'm going to end up recording on Zoom and screen sharing so that you can see the presentation I put together. Feel free to use it. I absolutely love it. I'm enjoying it so much, and I've been taking all of my notes in this in my learning notebook. Okay guys, this is my spooky studies self-curriculum that I created, where I am relearning how I learn and what works for me. I decided to do something less practical and more curiosity based. What ChatGPT and I generated was New England ghosts, graves, and forgotten villages. All of the words you're seeing were generated by ChatGPT. I just copied and pasted them into this presentation that I used a template for. I skimmed it to make sure that it was aligned with what I was looking for, but I didn't really know what I was getting into. I wanted it to really feel like a course that was designed, and I just picked it up, right, to actually learn from it, because I didn't want to know the answers before I started. So we are learning about haunted places of New England, ghosts of the past, and graveyard symbolism. I've only gotten through phase 1 of this, which is one haunted place of New England. As you can see, I am learning about Dudleytown, and I'm just going to tell you what I've learned about this. Feel free to use what you see on the screen. I can actually make a separate video so that you are able to go through this course if you would like to. Oh, that might be fun. We could all do it together. Let me know if you're interested in that. Fast forward to the next part of this video if you don't want to know what I learned, but here we go. So Dudleytown is an abandoned village in Cornwall, Connecticut. It was settled in the mid 1700s, specifically 1747. The land was purchased from Yale College in an auction in 1738 by Thomas Griffiths. He then sold a piece of the land to Gideon, I think it's Gideon Dudley, and him and his family moved in, started working the land and living there. The origin of the curse that fell upon Dudleytown goes back generations in the Dudley family back in England. Supposedly one of his ancestors was trying to overthrow the king, and he was beheaded. That ancestor was beheaded, and then the curse was put upon him and his family to come. However, the Dudleys from Dudleytown are not from the direct bloodline of the Dudley that was supposedly cursed in England. It would have been cousins, not necessarily like generational father to son, father to son. The first sign of the curse, crops and farms were failing. However, the town was located between 3 hills, and it's New England, so it's not necessarily great farm or cropland. And this was not actually ever a real town. It was just so isolated from Cornwall that they created a community and considered themselves a town. In the 1854 community census, it was approximated that there were 26 families living in Dudleytown. And all 26 families suffered from unspeakable oddities: unaliving, madness, unaliving themselves, or rare accidents. There's actually some famous historical figures that were also connected to Dudleytown, which was interesting. Presidential nominee Horace Greeley, his wife unalived herself a week before the 1872 election, and he lost to Ulysses S. Grant, who later went on to be president. There was a situation where 2 kids wandered off into the woods, never to be seen again. Another woman was struck by lightning right in front of her house and did not make it. And the empty home of the family that the kids and the father wandered off into the woods it had been abandoned and it mysteriously burned to the ground. In the 1900s, Dr. William Clark was the leading expert in cancer. He purchased the land as a holiday home for him and his wife. He went to the city for a day or two. When he got back, his wife was suffering from madness, claiming that there were strange creatures in the woods, and then she unalived herself. Clark and his friends, friends, I'm not entirely sure. Clark and these other people founded the Dark Entry Forest Association, who still preserves the surrounding forest, and it is forbidden for anyone to go there. There's no trespassing. What's left of the village, which is really just foundations, is completely overgrown, and they do not want people going there. With hysteria, people thought that the land itself was cursed, but they also had social, economic, and ecological issues as to why the town wasn't sustainable, and the added unexplained deaths and madness. A piece of debunking the curse was that 3 of the Dudley family members actually moved out of the town and lived full lives and never had any more curse-like issues. 2 of the men that were considered to have gone mad were 90 and 104 years old before they passed away. Age is a huge factor in madness, which was likely undiagnosed dementia. Harsh winters, illness, traumatic events in small communities feel massive even when statistically accurate. This reminded me a lot of the Salem witch trials. I recently read The First Witch of Boston, which that situation in itself is one person says something and it snowball effects. So this very well could have been that. There were always rumors and talk of creatures coming out of the woods, and then these people would go mad. Who's to say if that is true or not? And last but certainly not least is cleaning. I have a couple hours by myself and I'm going to clean the shit out of this house because that is my favorite thing to do once a week. For fair warning, I do my big cleaning not on Sundays. This is pre-recorded so you can enjoy it and get inspired and motivated on a Sunday. Julie and I made these little handprint leaves. I want to do an outline to make them look like leaves, but at the same time, I'm scared that I'm not going to like it and then I ruined them. So I'm going to put some up on the trim above our kitchen window and just see how it looks. Super cute, perfect for fall. Oh, look at it. And I'll do them, like, how cute. And I'll do them all the way across. Ah! I made my bread, which you saw, but then I had bananas that were very ripe, so I ended up doing a impromptu baking, but it was a recipe I'd never tried before, so I needed my phone to watch, like, to look at the recipe. But, so I'm making banana muffins, and I'll show you the before, and then I'll show you them after. Let me know if you're liking these Sunday resets, what you want to see more of. So all input is accepted, even if you hate it. I would love to hear from you. All feedback, especially criticism, is going to make me better at the end of the day. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you next Sunday. I'm trying to get some videos up throughout the week, but honestly, it is really strenuous on me and I am trying my best. But right now, this is where we're at. No matter what, I promise you will always get a Sunday reset and hopefully 2 other videos throughout the week. But again, trying my best. Can't promise you anything in this phase of life. But in case anyone hasn't told you yet today, I love you to the moon and back, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. What was that? Bye. Bye.